Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we have an interesting tip slash trick for this gimme lane power gain and the power sting. Basically it is one of the most annoying lanes in 6.4.1. And you can see why, because you deal 75% less damage unless you're kind of healing, and then opponent takes 400% of the amount that you are healing. And so obviously people have been bringing in their blades and finding different solutions, but I believe I found the most interesting one, definitely the one that seems to work pretty much perfectly, and that is Magik, because Magik utilizes the power sting. So you basically take the power sting damage, but then a Limbo heals it back. Plus 200% power gain is perfect dining field for Magik, because Magik has one of the best power controls in the game. So you completely nullify that aspect as soon as you reach your first level 2. And we can see that thanks to willpower first and foremost, and the Suicide Masteries in this case, but Suicide Masteries are not the must, but opponent is taking damage all the time. The point is, whenever we get these power sting debuffs on ourselves, then we do increase our healing once again, and opponent takes even more damage. And that is kind of like a separate way how to work around these nodes for sure. Just run willpower and the power control champion, and they will consistently be taking a lot of damage just from your willpower heal. But the main point of this is definitely the Magik's Limbo, and it works as well, extremely well, without Suicide Masteries. Technically even better, because poison debuff does lower your healing by 30%. And yeah, so base idea is just bring in Magik in here. Even though she doesn't have any heal per se in her toolkit, she works excellent in combination with power sting. And basically you take power sting damage and then you heal it back, and as soon as you heal it back, then opponent takes 400% of that heal that you basically mitigate on yourself, and that kind of enables you to keep a full health anyways, ignoring the power sting, plus healing up if you run recovery mastery. And yeah, so it works quite well. As you can see, again, against Rhino, we basically just need to get to our first level 2. He's already taking some damage thanks to our willpower heal, and as soon as we can start spamming our special attacks, he's going to be taking huge chunks of damage thanks to power sting and Magik's Limbo. So I just wanted to put this out there. We're going to go through most of the fights on this path, just to show how well it can actually work out, and quite effortlessly we can cheese through most of this lane thanks to Limbo. And in the end, we're going to also have one bonus surprise footage, just because as a bit of a help and maybe a bit of a one-off extra help for that Venom the Dark Spectre mini-boss. And there is certainly another interesting interaction that I wanted to showcase. But yeah, so here we can see that even with class disadvantage and all that, that Rhino is going down extremely quickly. The fight is relatively easy and simple. He's taking huge chunks of damage, and I'm just doing my thing there with Magik, spamming my special attacks, spamming heavy attacks, doing everything that I have to, and the opponent just dies super quickly. There also appears to be some sort of bug, I think, in this game, when whilst you're healing, you kind of deal like a normal damage by the looks of it. I'm not entirely sure if it's intended or not, but that will not take anything away from the main plan of a Limbo heal, because it does count as heal. And as a quick note, we are also running the Nick Fury Gold Pool synergy, so that's additional bit of damage at beginning of every fight, plus some top up on health for us. And yeah, obviously now against Ultron, we do need to be careful of that evade. So you can either play it one of the two ways. You can only basically attack him while he's under parry stun, or you need to be kind of like aware when the evade happened, and you kind of have to expect it. With a bit of practice, it's not too tricky to deal with this Ultron as well. And he removes poison debuff from you, so it kind of allows you to top your health up if you are running suicides, thanks to recovery mastery and Limbo and all that good stuff. And yeah, so here we can see that he's once again taking fairly sizable chunks of damage. If you want to maximize the strategy, for the sake of it, you can also max out Recoil Mastery, because why not? You take more damage from throwing your special attacks, then combine it with the Power Sting damage, and then opponents will take even bigger chunks of health out as soon as you heal it up with Limbo. Now, one thing you do need to be careful about is you do not want too much of your health, quote unquote, get stuck in Limbo, because even though you deal that damage and normally finish out the fights when you heal from Limbo, so that kind of is very helpful. But at the same time, if you happen to kill opponent while the Limbo is active, obviously that health will be quote unquote kind of like lost in Limbo, and you will not gain it back before the fight ends. So you want to be somewhat careful towards end of the fights. And yeah, so once again, another opponent went down relatively quickly with Magik, and we are just absolutely sailing through this lane. We can see that he's already taking a great amount of damage at the beginning. Once again, we just need to get to our first level 2. It's probably easier if you run Mystic Dispersion, because quite a few of these opponents do have buffs that expire, so that could help you as well. Once again, Suicide Masteries are not really a must here, but it works with and without Suicide Masteries, basically, is what I'm saying. If you're not using Magik, but you're using some regular high damage dealing champions, then Suicide Masteries are definitely a great idea, because that poison debuff will work in the background consistently for you. And yeah, we can again see we drop our special attack and we take that Power Sting damage, we heal it back, he takes damage from that. Wonderful. Life's very simple, life's very easy, and Magik is a perfect cheese option for this lane. And next fight is going to be Ronin. Ronin is a bit trickier fight on this lane, but you need to kind of make sure he doesn't switch his stances, and he certainly doesn't go in that stance that can make you bleed out of block, so that would be relatively problematic. But if he's in his first perfect block stance, there's not much to worry about. So just have your parry game on point, bait out the special attacks, build up to your level 2, and then the fight is going to be pretty much in control. Like here we can see we get the Power Sting again. He's taking damage quite heavily even at the beginning of the fight, and that's even before you have gotten to your main game plan. And as soon as you reach your level 2, you're basically good to go. There's nothing to worry about at this point anymore. You don't have to bait any special attacks, and you just do a whole chunk of damage every time you basically throw a special attack. And yeah, it just works out for pretty much Magik is great for vast majority of the opponents. Now, Ant-Man fight, I actually brought in Blade, because I knew that he will glance my attacks, and that probably would work out quite nasty. So for Ant-Man, using Magik and this method would be relatively trickier, but for pretty much every other fight on this lane, it's super easy. And now Symbiote Supreme, which is arguably the easiest fight, because he doesn't gain power by normal means, so you can just corner him and spam your special attacks and be happy-go-lucky guy. And yeah, we can see that he's taking a lot of damage already meanwhile. So you drop your special attack, you power lock him. That special attack deals a whole chunk of damage. Definitely doesn't seem like 25% of the damage, but still, your game plan is to work on those limbos and just smash this guy into oblivion. So here again, we drop another level 2. We get the Limbo heal. He takes a chunk of damage, and happy days, you can move on. Same as a Bishop. The Bishop could be a really annoying fight, but thanks to Magik's Limbo and power control, it's once again made as a relatively straightforward, simple fight. Nothing to worry about. Just bait out a couple of level 2s, get your Magik to your own level 2, and from there on out the fight is under your control. So during the course of this video, which is like barely 10 minutes long at this point, we have pretty much cleared the entire lane, and we have done it with no items, and yeah, it wasn't kind of like difficult at all. We can definitely see that it's working quite well. And if previously you were struggling with this lane, or if you were unsure how to approach it best, and you happen to have a rank 4, rank 5 Magik, then that certainly is a relatively great option. As a side note, I'm not running any boosts or anything like that in this video, so keep that in mind. You could also boost up and do it even quicker. But yeah, it's by far the easiest and simplest way how I figured out to do this lane, because of power control, because of all the extra damage, and it just seems to be such a cheesy thing to do, relying on that Limbo. And now that this fight is nearly over, we are going to be taking a look at the Venom the Duck mini boss fight. Now, I'm not going to do the entire fight, but I'm going to showcase a nice sweet one-off, and that's going to be Nick Fury's heal, because it still counts for this node. And basically the point is, so long as he keeps hitting you at a point when you would be healing up, you actually heal back up to full, because we all know how that Nick Fury heal works. So here we can showcase a huge chunk gun of that Venom the Duck in mere moments. Obviously, it's just kind of a one-off when your Nick Fury has the life model decoy active. But in a few seconds we took out 40% of that Venom the Duck, and you can kind of repeat the process if you're using something like Phoenix or Iron Man. So that's probably the best way how to cheese this Venom the Duck with a couple of revives. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya!